Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. As some of you know, I recently bought the Beatles, the U.S. albums CD box set, and I have listened to this quite a bit, and I, seriously enjoy it. It's different, and it brings back memories of when I was a little boy in the 60s. And I also wanted to bring up that I've noticed on YouTube just recently, there's some videos about Beatles fatigue. Robert, I forget his last name, but I'll show you the thumbnail of his video. I think he's the one that started it. And then me, Mr. Mayo, and Matthew Street did videos too. And they're not bashing the Beatles. I totally understand. I get it, You'd have to watch their videos and see what they say about it all. Just for me, personally, I've been a fan of the Beatles since 1964. At least for me, I don't know about you. I have never, ever, ever been tired of the Beatles or listening to their music. I would say, and I think a big reason is because I listen to a lot of different music, right? I love, Sparks, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, Ween, Nectar, Yes, Frank Zappa, like dozens and dozens and dozens of, bands and solo artists. And, I think overall, David Bowie and CCR and Electric Light Orchestra. Like, I listen to a lot of different music, but I would say every week, at some point in the week, I listen to music almost every night. I would say most nights I listen to something Beatles related, either, one of their solo album, George Harrison, Paul McCartney, or George Harrison, or one of the Beatles albums. And I don't know what it is. Like I said, I never get tired of hearing, even the other night I was playing different music, and then I'm thinking, I want to listen to Abbey Road, even though I've listened to it like, 1,000 times. And this time I played the remix, which I don't care for as much. It's interesting to listen to. And it's nice to have, the 2009 remaster and also the remix. But when I was listening to it, I was thinking, even though Sgt. Pepper came out, a couple of years before, and I played that a lot between 67 and 1969, if I had to guess what album I've listened to the most in my life, I think it would be the Beatles' Abbey Road. And like I said, I never get tired of it. There's always something, I listen with headphones, and a lot of the times there's something, I never heard that before, or that's the thing about the Beatles. I'm going to ramble just for a second. The production of George Martin, there's so many layers, especially to the later Beatles, right? To listen to. They're just, you could follow like Ringo's drums. So, that's what I do sometimes, right? I'm listening, I know the song so well, and so I might kind of focus on Ringo's drumming and say, that was a good fill. Or, Paul's bass is so melodic in this song, right? And I never noticed, George's guitar lick there or whatever, right? Or, it's just, I don't know, it's just fascinating hearing the Beatles, and never get tired of them. But that's just me. You can get tired of them, it's okay. So I thought I would rank these U.S. albums. And, growing up in the 60s, I never really knew about the UK, the proper studio albums that the Beatles wanted, right? So I thought Yesterday and Today was a real Beatles album. I thought Rubber Soul started with I've Just Seen a Face, not Drive My Car. And here we go. Okay, so at the bottom, ranked the lowest, I listened to this for the first time when I got this box set a couple of weeks ago. I listened to it all the way through. I'm never, ever, ever going to listen to it again. It's the Beatles story. It's just stupid. It's, it's got little snippets of the Beatles songs, which is, of course, great. A little bit of them performing live, which is great. But mostly it's, these spokespersons talking about the Beatles, and it's just stupid. I don't like it. But I'm glad, I listened to it once. All right, number 12. And all of these are great, but at the bottom for music-wise is the Beatles' second album. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 songs. And of course in the UK, you would usually get 13 or 14 songs on these albums. So we got ripped off, but it's not all bad. And this is still, a fun listen. I enjoyed it. And I haven't listened to the mono versions of any of these yet. All right, number 11, the early Beatles, which is basically Please Please Me, their first album, except it's missing. I saw her standing there. And also, There's a Place, which I might be wrong, but I think I read up on it, that If I Fell isn't part of the U.S. albums. We never really, of course I heard There's a Place in the 60s. One of my older sisters had it on a 45, but it wasn't on any of these U.S. albums, which I kind of forgot about. And I don't think it was on a U.S. album until Rarities in 1980. So that's number 11. Still great songs, of course. 12, 11. Number 10. Meet the Beatles. And what I love about this is, it includes I Want to Hold Your Hand, which in the UK wasn't on one of their, it wasn't on with the Beatles or any of their other albums. It was a single. So it's cool to start an album with I Want to Hold Your Hand. Definitely, still a great album. But, still, Canadians and Americans did get ripped off because we didn't get as many songs. Number 9. It's Something New. So it's kind of similar to Beatles for Sale. It's got I'll Cry Instead, Anytime. Well, it's a mixture of, how they do it is they take something from a couple of the UK albums, then they find some singles, they put some of the singles on these, and they just make sure you don't get as many songs. But still, it's of course, a great album. I never get tired of it. Number 8. I enjoyed this more than I thought I would because I knew it had instrumentals on it. But I thought the instrumentals from the movie, I thought they were very nice. And so I enjoyed this listen. And of course, the Beatles songs are excellent. Number 7. I really like this. This is one of the albums that I had as a kid. And I think it's probably one of the first gatefolds, at least for rock music, that I remember. I know that my dad had, like Johnny Cash, double album with the gatefold. But this was a rock album that had a gatefold. And I love the instrumentals on this one too. And I love how there's a little snippet of an instrumental at the start of Help, which just seemed, for me, seems to suit the song. Like it's pretty cool. But even with the, these, I guess, kind of in a way, they're fake studio albums, right? You can still hear how they change album to album, even with the U.S. Canadian releases. Number 6, Beatles 6. And yeah, this is another one that I remember having back in the 60s and loving it, of course. Great songs, and a lot of these albums would work, right? Kansas City as an opening song, I think that's very strong. Even though it's a cover song, it's still a great opening song for a Beatles album. And I think What You're Doing is very underrated. Yeah, yes, it is very underrated. Yeah, and when I played this, I even enjoyed a song like Dizzy Miss Lizzy. I know, that guitar riff gets a little tedious as it never really changes throughout the whole song. But like I said, when you listen to the Beatles, last time I was trying to ignore that guitar riff, because, okay, I got that. But, I'm listening to, the bass, the guitar, the vocals, and it's, still a great song. The top 5. Number 5, Beatles 65, which was released in December of 1964. So they kind of lied. This is 64, not 65. But still, look at those songs. And yeah, it starts with No Reply. So this is kind of some of the songs from Beatles for Sale. And then you get the single, She's a Woman, back with I Feel Fine. So another one of my favorites. And it's funny when I was playing this, right? After Drive My Car finished, even though I'm very used to it now being on, the opening song on Rubber Soul. When Drive My Car finished, not even thinking, I was waiting for I'm Only Sleeping to start. It's like, because, the memories of when I was a kid, it's like seeing this cover and then hearing Drive My Car and just knowing what the next song was. Just, what a great album, even though it's a fake album. Yeah, and I don't know, I guess that's another reason I don't like Drive My Car opening up Rubber Soul. Because, I do like the song. It's not one of my favorite Beatles songs, but I still do love it a lot. And it's just I'm so used to it opening up this album and not Rubber Soul. Number 3, once again, yeah, remember this coming out in 1970, seeing the album cover. You wouldn't know about a new Beatles album until usually you saw it in the record store, right? And one of my brothers brought this home and I was all excited. Is this a new Beatles album? And then you're kind of looking at the track listing. Hey Jude, Revolution, Paperback Writer. And it was a little disappointing, but still it was cool to finally have, songs like Hey Jude and Revolution on not on a single, but on an actual album. Of course, the track listing isn't like that on the actual album. Only 2 left, and you're going to be surprised, I bet. Number 2, yeah, I'm going with it. Number 2 is Rubber Soul. It's not number 1. And once again, I just think I've Just Seen a Face and It's Only Love just work better on this album than on Help. And of course, this is the album, you know, the American version is the one that Brian Wilson heard that influenced Pet Sounds. And it's number 2. This one is number 1, even though we really got ripped off. And like I said, I didn't know about it until probably the very early 80s, that there were 3 John Lennon songs missing from this. So there's 11 songs on this instead of 14. And the songs missing are Andrew Bird Can Sing, Dr. Robert, and I'm Only Sleeping. Yeah. But still, thinking back and even comparing these 2 albums, right? This has friggin', that's right, I said friggin', Tomorrow Never Knows. Probably my second favorite all-time song. And as great as this American version is, this still tops Rubber Soul for me, even though, like I said, it's missing 3 songs. But back in the 60s, we weren't really missing those 3 songs because those 3 songs were on Yesterday and Today. So this is still, I feel, you know, a great album, even though it only has 11 tracks instead of 14. And that is it. Thank you for watching. Please consider becoming a member of my channel. I just posted today an old video from 1988 where I'm opening up, remember Columbia House Records and Tapes? You would get 12 or 13 albums for, what was it, a penny or something? So there's a video there, a couple minutes long, for members of me showing some of my Columbia Record House purchases back in the day. And that is it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.